name from Keene State College in North Attleboro, Mass. Number 24, David Floyd. Now, brought to you by Full Throttle Power Sports. The most visible member of the SwampBats, and ambassador of goodwill, number 00, Wibby.
It is Independence Eve here at Alumni Field as the Sanford Mainers are in town to take on the Keene SwampBats. Keene 17-6, Sanford 8-13. And it's shaping up to be an exciting night here at Alumni Field as we bring you into the broadcast booth. Hello, everybody. I'm Andrew Hillsman. Alongside me, Jackson Walsh. And Jackson, these two teams played each other last Saturday at Alumni Field, where the SwampBats had one of their most dominant wins of the 2025 season, winning 12-1.
It was a tough one for Sanford, and it's been a story we've heard over and over. A game that Sanford has been in most of it, first half of the game, and then Keene just broke it open, wide open in the late stages. Sanford has been susceptible to having those big innings in. You go back to yesterday, a perfect example of it. They lost 7-4 to North Adams. All of North Adams' 7 runs came in the 4th inning, and Sanford was unable to respond.
On the other side of things, the SwampBats picked up a good win at Vermont yesterday, winning by 12. It was 16-4 in a game where they hit 4 home runs as a team. Ripken Reese had 2. So the Bats have been hot at the plate. The pitching is towards the top of the league as well. So this SwampBats team, as we head into the second half of the year, Sanford right at their halfway point. This is game 24 for Keene. The SwampBats look set up to be in a very good spot.
Can't complain, especially when you have that 17-6 record in the North Division. You might as well be 1,000-0 at this point. The North Division has just one team above 500. It's the Keene SwampBats. After that, everyone's struggling below them. North Adams, bottom of the league. North Shore's been playing a little better. Vermont kind of hanging around same spot as Sanford, and Upper Valley's been struggling too. Keene looks great right now at 17-6.
All right, all the talk stops, and it's time for baseball here on July 3rd at Alumni Field. We'll be right back with Mainers and SwampBats right after this.
From left fielder, number 44, Ryan Jarrett. And at 7, the baseman, number 2, Ty Maloney. Number 5, Julian Tucker. And he is the designated hitter, number 36, David Curry. Coming is Reed Player. And the 9th, the shortstop, number 31, Andrew Bell. And the 9 of the season for the SwampBats from Jacksonville University in Golden Beach, Florida, number 28, Alex Walsh. On the bases. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, let's draw your attention to the area behind home plate for the singing of our national anthem. This evening is performed by Elijah Griffiths. By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed
was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, it's almost time for Alex Walsh to take the mound as the Mainers are in town to take on the SwampBats. But before we get to first pitch, we got to send it down to Ryan Fitzpatrick, our sideline reporter. Ryan?
Thank you, Andrew. Well, the Sanford Mainers and the Keene SwampBats have faced off against each other 122 times in their years of playing each other. The record between the two teams, dead even at 66 and 66. And what has helped the Keene SwampBats this year is going undefeated at home field so far this season, 11-0, opposed to last year playing the Sanford Mainers, losing 8 out of the 9 games they played each other. But this time on the mound today for the Sanford Mainers is a Keene State product against the Keene SwampBats. So that'll be definitely interesting to see if the SwampBats can keep up their momentum here. Back to you guys.
Well, it's one of the biggest crowds of the year. It's the biggest crowd of the year, as it's only going to get more full here at Alumni Field. As Independence Eve, we got a big fireworks show planned for after the game, but I think you and I, we're hoping to see some fireworks in the game. How about that, huh?
These are the types of nights you dream about.
That's right.
In New England Collegiate Baseball in the summer. And as a starter for Alex Walsh, what a time to get a start here in front of a packed Alumni Field, one of the coolest games around the NECBL every single season. I saw some highlights of it last year when Vermont was in town for it, and it was just truly spectacular, even on video, and so fortunate to be here in person tonight in Keene.
Yeah, Alex Walsh, 1-0 on the year, 3 games started, a 1.50 ERA, 14 strikeouts, and only 2 walks. So the numbers have been phenomenal for Alex Walsh, the hard-throwing lefty out of Jacksonville. And for Sanford, what are they throwing out the SwampBats today?
Couple different things going on in the field and defense just because of limited numbers in certain spots, but in terms of lineup, pretty much what we've seen so far this season. Brendan Sensei leads off at third base. Zach Kent bats second. At second base, Dom Tazi played his first game for the Mainers yesterday. He is the DH spot. Jack Toomey in the cleanup spot in center field. Brennan Hudson at first base bats fifth, batting sixth. Doing the catching, Ryan Colbin. Charlie Jones in left field bats seventh. Ryder Kirtley bats eighth. The shortstop and batting ninth in right field is Sam Miller.
So Sensei will step into the batter's box to start us off. Alan Liberdoni calling balls and strikes as the first pitch just misses. We're underway at 6:34 p.m. here on the East Coast. When you talk about two teams that have had different starts to their year, you know, we mentioned last Saturday that Sanford had their opening game rained out a couple of times. There's a strike to the hitter Sensei, and with Keene just on that roll that they had at the start of the year, it just has kind of been a tale of two different first halves.
It felt like when the Mainers started, Keene was already halfway through their season in control, especially with the record they had. Dropped the first game against Danbury, but when you go on a winning streak like that early in the season, it's going to be really tough for teams to make up ground.
As the 2-1 is fouled back into the backstop by Brendan Sensei, who's playing third today, usually an outfielder, but, well, Sanford has had an interesting run of just guys being unable to play due to injury issues and ejection in last night's game.
It's the first time Sensei will be playing third in a couple of years. Said he last played it when he showed up to Bentley the fall of his freshman year, was there for about 2 weeks, and then that was the end of that. Mainers actually have 2 position players on their bench tonight. McGinnis, the catcher, and then the outfielder Strohmeyer.
3-2, a foul back, and you just look over at these stands. They are chock full of SwampBat fans. It's the anticipation for the, you know, the fireworks show at the end of this game. That's the big draw today, but also a big game in the Northern Division. 3-2 again. Off-speed pitch, a leadoff walk for Sensei.
Something you just haven't seen Walsh do a lot. 12 innings. K to walk is 14-2. That's a tough one to give up to the leadoff man, Sensei. You want to set the tone on the mound in the first inning, and that first out is the best out. So now you're in a tough spot here if you're Walsh with some really good hitters due up.
Yeah, it's it. We're going to have to keep an eye on the weather today. We have a chance of some weather coming in around 8, but hopefully that, if it does come, it'll just be a delay and not a postponement, as there's a first pitch down the pipe at 87 as Zach Kent swings and misses. Kent, the man from Binghamton, who's second in the NECBL in stolen bases this year with 15. Danbury's Garrett Larson leads the way with 25 as there's a ground ball to the second base side. That gets through for a single for Zach Kent.
You'll take it if you're Sanford. You just want base runners, especially early in the game, and that's just a good, simple approach from Kent. Just sat back on it, took it the other way. It was on the ground, but still a good piece of hitting now. You're in business with Tazi coming to the plate, a guy that has some pop in his bat out of Coastal.
Yeah, Dom Tazi, who just joined the team, is 4 for 8 on the year, already homered and has 3 RBIs. So season so far has been pretty solid for him. He's got that Chanticleer's batting helmet. As Walsh comes set on the mound. 2 on, no outs as the power righty pops one foul to the right side. Everybody's got to say heads up, and that will go foul for strike 1.
You knew you were getting a big bat if you're Nick Lops and the Mainers when Tazi was just waiting for his season at Coastal to finish up. Just played his freshman year there, played in 42 games for the second best team in college baseball this spring, and a gift to have in a lineup for a team that's 5 games under 500.
Could be a boost. 0-1. Breaking ball, he is on it early. Ground to the third base, Romano for 1. Manolfi over to Tupou, and he's safe. So they get the runner at second. 1 away with runners at the corners for the Mainers.
It was a really tough play off the bat. You knew it was going to be tough to get to. It just wasn't hit awfully hard. It's a good job by Romano at third to even get the force out at second.
So that'll bring up Jack Toomey, the cleanup hitter, as Kent is out on a fielder's choice and Tazi reaches on a fielder's choice. That's 5-6, or rather 5-4, excuse me. Lefty-righty matchup as there's a first pitch strike. 90 miles an hour on that offering.
Toomey's been swinging the bat pretty well this summer, hitting just a tick below 260 as a team high 12 RBIs. Good time for his 13th right here.
0-1. Breaking ball caught him out in front. Makes it 0-2 with Toomey, who's had a solid season at the plate. He's got a homer, double-digit RBIs, and
been really good for the Mainers, and that was a good-looking changeup, I believe, from Walsh. Just had Toomey swinging right over the top of it.
0-2. Lined out to left field as it eats up Jaros, and that will score the first run. He couldn't get to it in time, as the Mainers now lead 1-0 in the first with only 1 away.
It's a good 2-strike approach. Got a breaking ball again. It was a pretty good pitch, too. It was down in the zone, but Toomey just had a good job of protecting the plate, went down, golfed it into left field, and there's also good base running from Ken. He had to freeze for a second to see if Jaros was going to catch that and left, but Mainers get a run in a big first run.
So 1 out and 1 over the plate for the Mainers as they lead, and Brennan Hudson will operate with a man in scoring position, and 2 on as there's a called strike to Hudson. Hudson's first baseman today, 1 for 3 and 2 runs batted in his last game. Walsh will look in, 0-1. He's gotten ahead in counts, just hasn't been able to finish off batters in this first. There's the off-speed pitch, way out in front.
Right now, early, he's tunneling that breaking ball really well with his fastball. Just a couple of swings from Sanford bats that haven't been close.
0-2, lefty-lefty. Good block by Reese to keep it in front of him.
2 RBIs yesterday for Hudson. We're in the first inning in game 2 against North Adams. An RBI, 2 RBI single to right field. After that, Sanford didn't score. They put up 4 in the bottom of the first, and then nothing after that.
1-2 foul back, and there's a good offering at 90 from Walsh, but it's already up to almost 20 pitches, only recorded 1 out. So Sanford has to be feeling good at this point.
especially with how well Walsh has thrown this year. To get his pitch count this high this early in the game, that's a great feeling, and you already have a run, too.
1-2, another breaking ball in the dirt. Everybody stays where they are, and Walsh had 7 scoreless innings for Jacksonville in the ASUN tournament opener against North Alabama. He allowed 2 hits, walked 2, and struck out 5. Another breaking ball, just doesn't seem to be locating as Reese is going to throw out the lead runner, Tazi. They got the Mainers trying to get aggressive on the base pass, and there's 2 away. Great awareness from the catcher, Ripken Reese.
That's an excellent play from your backstop, and a great feeling for the pitcher, Walsh. You get a free out there on a count that originally was 0-2, got moved to full, and Tazi, that's not that bad of base running. He broke right away. He wasn't hesitating, didn't think about it. Just a good play, and the ball didn't skip far enough away.
So that brings Hudson to the plate. 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. As Walsh is able to get out of it with only 1 run allowed. We head to the home half of the first. Bats trail, but they've got Herring, Reese, and Perez due up.
Turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. We put the bars in the place. I'm talking one chance at best. Yes, painting pictures for the culture, keep the brushes fresh. Flip the cover, work the drummer, passion never rests. Freedom is a teacher under pressure, now we blessed. Yeah, it's one all, one shot. Now the future is yours. Let's go.
Oh, hello. Who is that? Who's having a look at? Oh, I think that's Michael O'Brien. What's up, Michael O'Brien? He's on a rest day today. There's a side profile of one of the Bats outfielders. There's a better look at some of the SwampBats fans, of which there are many today, as the Bats trail 1-0 after the away half of the first. And Jackson, a really effective first inning from Sanford, just getting that first run on the board against a really solid starting pitcher.
That was a great inning for the Mainers. Anytime you can score first inning runs, that's a welcome gift for any coach and ball club. But the momentum really turned in that inning there. Walsh's pitch count was up. First and second, just 1 out. And then a wild pitch, able to throw out Tazi at third. A good job from the catcher, Reese, and then you get a punch out on the next pitch. So that's a good flip of momentum. And if you're Keene, after the way that first inning was going, you're not too unhappy with only allowing 1 run.
And here's the look at the 5'8" right-hander, junior, originally from Winter Garden, Florida, plays his college ball at Keene State. It's David Floyd.
Floyd, a big Keene guy.
Oh,
Told me he loves this town.
We grew up going to some of these games, you would imagine.
Well, he's here in college, originally from North Attleboro. Correct.
Probably a couple of SwampBats games in his time. As here's the defense. Anything surprise you here?
The only big thing that sticks out is, yes, you have Sensei at third. First time he's been at first this summer. Other than that, pretty standard defense for Nick Lops. And I mentioned it, you don't have anybody on your bench that has played anywhere besides first base in the infield. So should be interesting. Hopefully no more ejections, injuries come up, and you get out of Keene with a W at the end of the day.
Well, it's a tough first 3 hitters to face for any pitcher, but Jack Herring will start the SwampBats off, as he was 4 for 5 with 6 runs batted in yesterday in the blowout win at Vermont.
Floyd on the mound, he's the ace for the Keene State Owls, just down the road here from Alumni Field. Keene State won the Little East Conference this year.
That one's laced out to left field, opposite field, back it goes, leadoff shot, see ya. We're tied at 1.
How about that from Herring? He hurt this team last time they played and making some noise in the first. That was a fastball from Floyd, and when Floyd got hurt at Danbury his last time out, which was last Tuesday on the Connecticut trip for the Mainers, he was giving up all his hits on fastballs. Everything was on a line, and not the start you want there.
A rocket for Jack Herring, 97 off the bat, and it went 347 feet. He goes the other way, so we'll have another look at it. Just a really well-hit ball, and Jones didn't really have any chance to go after it. But a really nice start for the SwampBats. We'll see if Ripken Reese can follow it up. He had 2 homers yesterday. As he looks at the first pitch that's low. So the second pitch that Herring sees, he takes a ball and then blasts a home run to the other side for his 3rd long bomb of the year. 1-0 to Ripken Reese. He fouls off a fastball. Floyd, a guy who can run up the velocity numbers, 93 on these fastballs.
Yeah, he's one of the harder throwers you'll see across Division III baseball anywhere, and that's why he has success at the Division III level. But these NECBL hitters have been a little more geared up for the fastball, and that's what Herring hit out of the park.
As that one runs inside and will hit Ripken Reese in the shoe, it looked like, as he'll take his walk to first.
He went to the off-speed that time, just tugged it a little bit, overthrew it, and that's why it goes down and inside to a lefty that time, and Reese just took it right off the cleat.
So Floyd, that's his 5th hit by pitch, or it's his 5th hit batsman of the year in his now 5th appearance. He's only started 2 games. He came out of the bullpen a little bit. It'll be a fresh count to Xavier Perez, who's hitting .326 on the season. Also had a home run yesterday as he waves and misses at strike 1.
Perez, a guy that really hurt Sanford the last time the Mainers were here, had 2 homers in his first 2 at-bats, right center, and then a solo shot to dead center field.
He had those 2, and those are, he's already got 4 on the year. It's been hot as of late. Pickoff attempts back over to Reese, but no tag is applied.
And Andrew, you talk about how Floyd has had some starts and some relief appearances. He's actually had better numbers in relief so far this summer. This is his 3rd start. His first 2 starts didn't really go his way, but Nick Lobs trusts him. It's a big test for Floyd, pitching in his college hometown.
Speeds up Perez with the fastball that time. And he falls behind 0-2, does Xavier Perez. Perez, who led Houston in batting average, homers, and RBIs this last year. Nothing in 2 to him, as he is able to check his swing. Was close to going around, but Colbin wisely keeps Reese at first as he gets up and grabs that ball that went awry.
That was a really good play from Colbin behind the plate. An experienced catcher. He's in his 2nd year with the ball club.
Perez, redshirt sophomore in 2025. As he'll take strike 3. It's a really nice off-speed offering from Floyd and his first punch out of the day.
He doubled up on that breaking ball, and that was effective because it was 2 different kinds of breaking balls. He was trying to go more put away on the first one, and that's why he spiked it in front of the plate. Colbin was able to block it, luckily. And then this one is more your get-me-over breaking ball, but in a 2-strike count. And it just throws Perez completely.
And this brings up Nick Romano, who's averaging .250 on the year, at homer and 13 runs batted in. He's a high RBI guy, as that one's down inside of the switch hitter Romano. 3 switch hitters in the top 4 of the order.
Never see that really
it's
anymore,
pretty
especially
rare
for one collegiate summer ball team.
Now, he's inside as well. 2-0. And Romano is getting some words of encouragement from his dugout as he steps back in. Romano 1 for 3 drew 3 walks yesterday. And RBI, you know, those hitting stats can be inflated when a team puts position players into pitch, but they still count.
So that for some of the Vermont players, it wasn't their first appearance on the mound this summer.
It wasn't, yeah.
Oster Apple for Vermont is a position player who's already thrown twice for the Mountaineers.
2-1. Ground ball, first base side, it gets by. And that'll send Reese to third. Throw in from Miller, not in time. Runners at the corners, 1 away.
Another great example of fundamental hitting at the plate. That was a good breaking ball from Floyd. That was down right where he wanted it. And then Romano just was able to get a bat on it and chop it into a hole where nobody was. Hudson almost had it, and Floyd would have gotten over there to cover. But now the SwampBats don't skip a beat. Another chance to put up a big number in the first.
Last time against this same Sanford team, the first inning netted them 3 runs. Off after a Jack Herring double and an Xavier Perez homer. And then Timon Olfey drove in Ripken Reese, who was hitting the 4 slot. Here's Chandler Tupou as he looks at one that's outside.
It's really intimidating for a pitcher when a big lefty like Tupou steps up at Alumni Field, where that short porch in right center.
Yep. Tupou's yet to pop one this year, as he waves at that. But 6 homers this past season with Charleston Southern for the Buccaneers, drove in 60 runs. So, you know, the stats are definitely there for a guy like Tupou. 1-1. That one just misses outside. You saw Colbin try to kind of sneak it back in that bottom outside corner.
Yeah, just trying to frame it on the black on the outer half, but it's a good call from Alan Liberdoni behind the plate. When Floyd's on, he's getting ground balls. This would be a great time for an inning-ending double play.
2-1, that's an off-speed pitch that maybe popped out of the hand a little early. Tupou, originally from the other side of the country, hails from Washington State. 351, 10 homers, 446 RBIs for the Buccaneers in 2024. 3-1. Romano leads off the first. That one's in the dirt. Bases are loaded.
And this is just not the start you want if you're Sanford right now. He used a lot of arms in that doubleheader yesterday against North Adams. He threw 5 pitchers in both games yesterday, the doubleheader. So the arms are already a little depleted, and this is tough to have this long first inning already, and it's long to the point where you're not even out of it yet. You don't see the end of the light at the end of the tunnel yet. It's bases loaded, 1 out, and some really good hitters are coming to the plate for Keene.
Yeah, I mean, you look at yesterday, both 7-inning games, but marathon ones where Sanford won the first one, walked it off 9-8, and then 11 runs combined in that second game. So when doubleheaders are that high scoring, then hey, you're bound to use some pitchers. This is Ryan Jaros making his first start at home as a SwampBat, with the bases juiced. His appeal down to first base. Brian Roth says he did not go around. Jaros playing for Rutgers this upcoming season, but played for the NC State Wolfpack in 2025, Georgia Tech in 2024. 304 in 30 games. He started 19 for NC State. 1-0, fouled off to the right side and out of play. Tall, listed as an infielder, but has only played left field or DH thus far.
And what a time to be making your first start of the summer at home.
Right.
No better night for it.
Big crowd on hand. We'll get you the attendance numbers once we have them. 1-1 is a strike. But I got to imagine it's going to be the biggest number that we've seen thus far. I look back on Savings Bank of Walpole night when you were last here. It was 3,240. I have to scroll back quite a ways, or rather flip back quite a ways in my scorebook to see a night that compares to that. 1-2, ground to the first base side, picked up by Hudson, and they'll get the out at the plate. So the bases are still loaded, but in a better situation with 2 away.
There it is. That's exactly what the Mainers needed. And I talked about a couple batters ago when Floyd is on, he's getting balls on the ground, and that's just a weak ground ball to first, and a good play from Hudson to quickly corral it and throw home, because it wasn't hit awfully hard, so you got to rush that play a little bit.
Right.
It's not like when a guy's running down the line, you have more time because he's starting in the box after a swing. Runner on third base has a lead and is jumping on contact when it's on the ground like that. So a good play from Hudson. You're just 1 out away from getting out of this really big jam early on.
I flip back to one of the first reading, or the second reading with Ribby Night, which is a reading program that Keene does with local schools around the area. That was 3,325 fans at that game. So just above the number that you and I saw last Saturday. Here's Ty Manolfi, who leads the NECBL in batting average at an astounding 365 through 52 at-bats. So he's been just one of the best hitters, most consistent hitters on this team ever since he was inserted back into the lineup as an everyday guy.
That just shows you how good Keene has been this year. Manolfi's batting 7th tonight.
And that one will get away, and it'll score Romano easily as a wild pitch from Floyd makes it a 2-1 game.
So close to getting out of that inning, and it's just not the way you want to do it. Free pass for Keene's second run of the night. But when you have bases loaded, 1 out, and then you're only going to allow 1 more run after that, assuming the scoring stops there, right. I think you take that if you're Sanford.
It might be a back and forth game, small ballpark. We haven't really seen one of those where both teams are just going right back at each other. Believe it or not, we've seen a 1-0 ball game here at Alumni Field this year.
Was that back on opening night?
No, it was against Newport. It was towards the start of the season, but just one of those games where it was a total pitcher's duel as that one runs inside, almost nabs Manolfi. Hello, Ripken Reese. He's staring deep into your soul, and he's happy about something. I think we will let him back to his catching duties that he'll be back to when we come back.
He was fired up to just score that run there.
3-1. Pop up and the count runs full, meaning the runners won't be in motion because I forgot there wasn't a guy at first. Tupou stands on third with Jaros on second.
It's a really big payoff pitch right here.
Big time. Let's see what Floyd comes back with to the left-handed hitter Manolfi.
Good pitchers limit the damage, and Floyd's a good pitcher. We'll see if he can do it here with a good bat at the plate.
Payoff on the way. Call, or rather, it's just low for ball 4. Just missed the plate. And that's ball 4. Bases are loaded again. Brings up Aiden Harris in his first at-bat at home.
And Colbin and Floyd both thought they had strike 3. And you could hear from here Alan Liberdoni telling the Mainers dugout that it did indeed miss down. So doesn't hurt you as much as a hit, but still not out of the inning. That pitch count continues to climb.
Aiden Harris, a smooth righty swing. Stands in. He was 1 for 3 yesterday in his first at-bat. In his debut yesterday, he flared what I thought was just a little flare bloop base hit into right field. Opposite field, came off the bat at 96. There's 92 from the pitcher Floyd. That's makes it a 1-1 count.
The funny thing is, we talked about with Floyd at Keene State, he told me when the Mainers were here last Saturday, it was actually his first time not even on the field here, first time seeing the ballpark at all. He goes to school on the other side of town.
1-1, hit well, left field. Under it is Toomey, he makes the grab. But the Bats plate 2, they lead by 1. We're through a full inning here on Independence Eve at Alumni Field. All right, there's a look at the conditions here at Alumni Field. No rain yet. We're hoping it stays that way, but it is overcast. Not too hot of a night. We're hoping that the weather stays away because there's a beautiful fireworks show in the works for after the game, as is tradition here at Alumni Field on Independence Eve, July 3rd. The SwampBats, it's their biggest crowd of the year. It's the NECBL Spotlight game. The social media crew is in town to make some awesome content, and it's a celebration of baseball and America and everything That's fun.
The national pastime.
That's right.
Perfect night for it. And it's funny when you head to the bullpen here at Alumni Field, and a night like this, especially when it's packed, even other nights, you're pretty much immersed in the crowd.
Yep.
Fans will pull up their chairs and sit anywhere from in front of you to your left to your right, and you're hanging out with them the whole night.
I mean, you look at just around along the right field line. That one runs high and into Ryan Colbin, the catcher, who's 7 for 25 at the plate this year. You look at just how far down it stretches all the way to the fence. This line of fans with their lawn chairs or whatever sitting devices they may have. And we'd see a foul ball over there as that one's crushed out to left field. Back it goes at the wall. Gone. No, it's off the wall. Excuse me. As Jaros will pick it up, and a really nice, well-hit double by Colbin. I thought it snuck over. Tough to see in the sky, but a really hard-hit ball by Ryan Colbin. Double.
I thought it got over for a second, too. Not only the tough sky, it hit a white sign on the fence. We had a couple of those at Goodall Park this year where you think are out of there, but they stay in the park, and that was nearly the first home run as a Sanford Mainer for Ryan Colbin, who's here with the team last year. Back here, obviously, this year. Almost left the park, but you take that if you're Sanford.
Yeah, no kidding. That's my John Sterling moment, I guess. Wait, what did I see wrong? Anyway, these things happen. Charlie Jones to the plate, hitting 190 as he fouls this one off out of play.
He's been picking it up recently, Jones at the plate. I've liked his approach. We've seen a lot of guys in the Mainers lineup slowly start to have the tides turn after their couple weeks. He didn't show up right at the start of the season. Himself and his Georgia teammates came a little late. You see one of them, Brennan Hudson, in the background there, and they've all been swinging the bat a lot better recently.
0-1 from the lefty Walsh. That one's a little bit low. Runs it to 1-1. Be interested to see how long they send Walsh. I believe the goal would be get him 4 innings. If he has to go 3, that's okay. SwampBats have a really deep bullpen at this point in the year. 1-1. Off-speed pitch got him out in front.
It's another good job by Walsh getting off-balance swings at the plate. You can have guys take big swings and swing and miss sometimes, but when you're getting off-balance swings, that's when you know your stuff is on. And Jones had his biggest hit of the summer yesterday, game-tying single in the 6th against North Adams.
Good block by Reese to keep it in front of him and then keep Colbin at second. 2-2.
I say that hit was in the 6th yesterday. It was a doubleheader, so a 7-inning game. So really like the 8th inning for that game-tying hit for Jones.
2-2 as Walsh shakes off Reese a couple of times, and now he comes set. Hard hit ground ball. Bell picks it up. Has to rifle it over. Throw is in time as Tupou makes the lunge. Out number 1.
Goes bang over at first, and I don't think that Bell realized the speed that Jones had. He's a bigger guy. He kind of took an extra pro hop to gather it and then throw over, and Jones nearly beat it down the line.
But it is an out, says Brian Roth, the first base umpire. Don Galler is the third base umpire for today. And now the 8-hole hitter Ryder Kirtley is to the plate, who's admittedly had a struggle, or rather a slower start than he would have wanted. He's 5 for 41. That off-speed pitch just seems to be staying on the hand a little too long for Walsh.
It's been there at times, but yeah, you're right, Andrew. He has kind of spiked a couple, tugged it, as some would say.
Ask for a new baseball, see if it helps him.
Numbers aren't great from Kirtley, but had his best swing of the summer yesterday. A ball that would have been way out of here at Alumni Field, just split the right center gap for a double.
1-0 is high. It's just interesting to see, like, you know, how I feel like, especially in the major leagues, you look at, people always say, oh, it's a home run at like the short porch at Yankee Stadium or something like that, but it wouldn't be a home run in other ballparks. I think it's the same here. It's nice fastball from Walsh, blew it right by Kirtley. But I think even there might be even more variation between ballparks. There's some that are very, standard. Bristol is pretty deep. North Adams is pretty standard.
North Adams is standard. Upper Valley's pretty standard,
right?
Too.
And then you look at Alumni Field, for example, or in Sanford's case, under 300 feet to right field, or you look at Vermont, the other side of things, where they have 420 out the dead center.
Those 3 teams in the north have 2 of the most unique parks in the league.
2-2 on the way with 1 away. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
That's a big comeback for Walsh. Man on second, no outs. You get a ground ball. You get a punch out after you're down 2-0 in the count, and you get the 9-hole hitter Miller coming up. This would be another big swing of momentum on the defensive side of the ball for Keene.
And this will bring up Sam Miller, who was 0 for 4 in his most recent game, just above the Mendoza line with 5 RBI. Walsh kicks and deals. That fastball, he's leaning on that in the later stages of this inning. It's because the off speed was not really working for him, or just he's seeing it well.
That's what will happen sometimes as a starter. You don't have one of your pitches, but something else you have in your arsenal is going to be on, and that's the fastball right now.
1-2 fastball, a little outside, or 0-1 rather, with 2 away. And especially with Walsh, a guy who's very accurate. He's only walked 3 batters to this point in the year. 1-1 on the way. Appeal down to first. Brian Roth says Miller checked his swing.
And I think it was last time the Mainers were at Keene, Andrew, we talked about it, how some of the Keene relievers were really low effort, but could fire it in there in the mid-90s. Walsh is kind of the opposite of that. He's out there grunting for pitches, trying to get strikes.
He's got a kind of a loopy delivery where he rides the slide down the mound and then just whips it all through. He's a 6'4" lanky left-hander, so that's a frame that generates some power. 3-1. There's a strike, high half of the zone, but just catches the top end.
That's a good spot. That's probably the highest you're going to get a strike call tonight.
I would think so. Kind of right at the letters or just below the letters. So 3-2 with 2 away. Just got a piece of it. We'll do it again.
That one might have ended up missing a tick high, but still a good 2-strike approach from Sam Miller. That's not a ball you want to let go and then leave it into the hands of an umpire to ring you up or not. So a good fight. You keep making the pitcher Walsh work, run up the pitch count here with 2 outs.
He's already up. He's about to throw his 40th pitch. 3-2 again. Off speed, got him swinging. Works the fastball and then pulls the string as the Mainers go quietly with only 1 base hit and then 3 outs in quick succession. Due up for the SwampBats, it's Andrew Bell, and then the top of the order, Jack Herring and Ripken Reese when we come back.
At M&T Bank, we believe in the power of together. Together, we can help your business grow. Together, we can move communities forward while giving back. Together, we can help your family spend more time on what matters most. And together, we can achieve more than ever before.
Well, we're only through 1 full inning of SwampBats hitting, but there's a new pitcher on the mound. It's Nick Melton, the lefty out of the University of North Carolina in Asheville.
This is going to be the 6th appearance of the year for Melton. Not a lot of guys have 6-7 appearances for the Mainers so far this year. And Melton has been a guy that Nick Lops can trust. He has been excellent so far. So far in 5 games, 9 innings, 9 strikeouts, 3 walks. Has allowed 12 hits, but he pitches to contact, so a lot of the hits he'll let up are singles that don't hurt him. Has 1 earned run allowed, so in 9 1/3 innings, a .96 ERA, and the Mainers need some outs on the mound right here, trailing by 1.
So the final stat line for David Floyd goes as follows. In a full inning pitch, 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. As this is going to be Andrew Bell, who is the 9-hole hitter, the shortstop, who's hitting 150, but had an RBI yesterday, was 2 for 5 at Vermont. Look at Melton, guy with some good offerings, fastball, slider, changeup guy. You characterize him more as an accuracy and movement guy?
He is touch and feel. That's definitely what he is. Fastball will probably top out around 86. He'll run it up there to 87. Has a little bit of movement on it too, but really complements his breaking ball well off the heater, and just a guy that out there that knows how to pitch. Sometimes guys are just out there throwing and trying to blow you away with a fastball, but Melton's a true pitcher, and that's why Nick Lops has him in the second inning here in a game that really feels like a must-win for Sanford.
They've lost their most recent game. Keene broke a 2-game losing streak after they got swept on Sunday in a doubleheader at North Shore. There's a really nice off-speed pitch to the hitter Bell. 0-1, high chopper, third base side, picked up in fair territory. Sensei has to rush the throw, but it gets away, and it'll go out of play as Bell will reach second.
That was a really tough play for Sensei, and we talked about it, Andrew, as a guy that hasn't played third base in a college baseball game ever, not in a college summer ball game ever. The last time he's played third base in a competitive baseball game was all the way back in high school, but he needs to step up for Sanford tonight, and that's a tough play. It's going to go down as, I believe, a hit and an error to allow
single, and then the
Bell
error on the
second.
throw. You're right.
But that was one where the only chance he would have had to get Bell going down the line if he threw it on the run, drifting into foul territory. He took that extra second to gather his feet, and it's a tough play at first for Hudson to try to keep that in front. It spiked way in front of him and just soared over his head.
Well, a couple of variables I think helped that. One, the speed of Andrew Bell is going to make that a tough play. And then also just the fact that how high that ball got hit off the ground and then bounced up. And then I think the decision with Brendan Sensei deciding, hey, do I play this? Is it going to be fair? It was kind of right on the line. That's a tough one. But then the throw, you know, as an infielder, you just want to make that throw and get the out. But
it was definitely an all-around tough play, and there's not much you could do if you're Sensei over there at third on that.
1-0 to Herring as he skies this one to left center field, moving after it at the wall. Jumping at the wall and making the catch is Jack Toomey, which will advance Andrew Bell to third base, but just missed another home run. Jack Herring is really seeing the ball well.
It just kept drifting and drifting out there, and it kind of slid into that pocket, that little corner at the 352, and straight away left center field, and that was a little more to the right, a little more to the left. That ball's leaving the yard, and I mean, Herring has had some unbelievably good swings against Sanford this summer. Last time the Mainers were here, Herring had 3 doubles, already had the homer tonight, and nearly had his second one there.
Well, you look at just how high that ball got out, almost above 35 degrees exit angle, and then 341 feet, where at a lot of spots, especially if he puts that more towards left field, that ball is getting out. But it's an effective at-bat nonetheless as it moves Bell to third. 0-1 to Ripken Reese, who was hit by a pitch in the first. 3 for 5 yesterday with 6 RBIs and 2 bombs. Flares it this one, and it's 0-2 now.
Another point I wanted to talk about on that funky play on the infield single for Bell. I mentioned how Melton has allowed 12 hits in a little over 9 innings because he's had a lot of hits like that. When you're a guy that pitches to contact, those are going to come up sometimes. Just infield singles and dink and dunk hits.
And those don't kill you like a 2-run or really a solo shot.
Exactly.
Especially, there's a pitch that just catches the outside half of the plate for strike 3. The off-speed offerings from Melton working well early.
3-pitch strikeout. Talk about efficiency, and you really need that strikeout because if you're Reese, you don't want to take a pitch anything near the zone in that situation. When you have less than 2 outs and a runner on third base, you've got to try to put a swing on the ball. So good job from Melton staying around the strike zone and has a good chance to get out of this one.
See what he can do against Xavier Perez, who went down looking an inning ago. As the Mainers have the top of their order due up in the third. So 2 away, and first offering in the dirt to Perez is the ball. With Perez, just his compact swing, he's not the tallest guy, he's versatile, playing right today. He's played some first base, he's DH'd. He's played a little bit of left as well. Off-speed pitch is there for a strike.
And that's what you need in summer ball, especially school baseball. You usually see guys kind of fine-tuned to their spots, but you need fluidity in summer baseball. And talk about Perez, then you look at Sensei for the Mainers stepping up to play third when he's only played first and center his whole college career and here with the Mainers.
Lefty-righty, 1-1. Breaking ball as Perez maybe a little late on deciding to swing after it.
It had some late life to it. It looked like it was going to miss up the whole time, but it Probably just dropped into the strike zone later than you'd usually see. Kind of left it up a little bit. That's not a pitch you want to make again, though, because Perez can catch a breaker and send it out of here if it's hanging.
1-2 with 2 away. On its way. And he goes to maybe a change, or rather, maybe probably some sort of fastball, some sort of sinker action.
Looked like it might have been his changeup. His changeup and fastball don't have a ton of velocity difference on it, just a little bit of movement. It's also a dangerous pitch, though, to leave that upstairs, and that's why it's effective sometimes, because no hitter is going to be sitting a breaking ball at the top of the zone.
1-2 again. Ground ball to the shortstop, Kirtley. Couple of shuffles. The throw almost tagged him out on the jump by Hudson, but he's safe, and that scores Andrew Bell.
We've been talking about a lot tonight, guys, that haven't had a lot of time at positions. Kirtley hasn't had a lot of time at shortstop. We usually see Trey King there, Blake Schaff as well, but because of a depleted infield, Kirtley has to go to short and just airmail that throw a little bit. Hudson was pretty close to coming down to that, making the tag. He got the tag on Perez, but by the time he tagged him, Perez was already standing on first base.
Yeah, it was a nice acrobatic play, to be fair, for Brendan Hudson. I thought he was, from here, it looked like that tag had a chance to be in time. To even jump up and get that ball, good play to keep it to one base, rather that one rolls out of play, which is it likely does, then Perez is at second. This brings up Nick Romano, who singled and scored in the first.
Already had a couple of funky plays in the infield tonight.
Be heading for one of those sorts of games. Breaking ball, great pitch.
One ball that's left the infield was a fly out to left.
Yeah, it's just been like every odd play that you can think of has already occurred, and we're just short of 2 innings through this game. 0-2. Broken bat in the infield, gonna be a tough play. Sensei barehand sort of first.
Look at that.
Got him. Great throw from Sensei.
It's a guy that hasn't played a lot of third, but looks like a natural out there. And that's how you help your pitcher out and get out of the inning.
Gotta love it. Great play from Brendan Sensei. The Bats plate 1. They lead 3-1. And the top of the order, Sensei, Kent, and Dom Tazi on the way to the plate for the Mainers on the other side of this break.
All right, SwampBat fans, you know what time it is. Everyone's favorite dizzy bag. I'm going to count down from 10. And when I start counting, I want all of y'all to start swinging around the base. And when I say go, run as fast as you can to Ribby. And whoever hop out first wins. 10, 9, start swinging, start going. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 1/2, 1, go! Run! It's a close race. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Oh, and she got it.
If you're signed up for tonight's Dudes Tire Roll.
Well, it's Independence Eve here at Alumni Field, if you hadn't noticed, based off our graphics package, where I don't know if you noticed, but the bases in our little scorebug are little American flags.
I haven't caught that
Yeah.
yet, but
Have a look if there's a Mainer that gets aboard this inning.
Is that a job from Ryan Hearn?
It sure is. Props to him. The best do-it-all man in the NECBL.
Also, shout out to Ryan Hearn at Keene State, too.
Oh, yeah.
Owls have some of the best social media and graphics you'll see across Division III.
First pitch swinging for Sensei. High fly ball center field, and Herring makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out.
That's efficiency on the mound. Just get a lazy fly ball to the outfield. 1 pitch and get an out in the third. You're feeling really good if you're Keene, because each inning, Sanford's come to the plate. They've had the momentum, but Keene State's been able to, excuse me, I was talking about Keene State before. And
yeah.
My Division III mind just heads there sometimes.
Hey, fair enough. We won't.
The Keene SwampBats have done a good job in the first and second at limiting damage and using that momentum on the offensive side of the baseball. You look at that first inning, Sanford had a really good chance to put up more than 1 run. Keene did a good job, and then last inning, a leadoff double for Ryan Colbin. Nothing to show for it on the scoreboard for the SwampBats.
1-0 offering there for a strike to Kent, who singled and was put out on a fielder's choice when Dom Tazi grounded into that. Tazi on deck right now. 1-1 off-speed pitch, popped up. Reese heads our way, and he dives. Can't make the play. He was close, but a good effort from Rick and Reese.
He's dealing with the fence in front of the Mainers dugout.
It's a tough one.
It's always a tough play, especially for a catcher, too, because the ball has such funky spin on it when it's a play that's going to be possibly made by a catcher.
Right.
You have that backstop coming towards you, and then that ball has so much spin on it where it's going to drift back towards you. And that's a lot of times you see catchers overplay those. That time it was actually underplayed by Reese, but that was because of the fence in front of him.
Well, he doesn't want to dive head first into a fence. 1-2, and called strike 3 anyway. As Kent goes down for the 3rd strikeout of the day for the 4th on the day for Alex Walsh.
That's a good response from Walsh. You start with the breaking ball. That was what Kent fouled off, and then just heat on the outer half, and that's a tough ball for
92
any hitter
will play.
to get to.
Yeah,
yep.
92 will play. Lefty who throws 92 with that height as far as he can get down the mound. It's pretty deadly. There's the breaking ball, is called for a strike. Just catches the corner. Now Tazi, it looks like he's swinging one of these torpedo bats, it looks like to me.
I think he might have gotten that from Coastal. That's a Marucci torpedo, I believe.
Big swing and just misses on it. Have you ever tried swinging a torpedo bat?
I haven't touched a bat in a couple of years.
Oh, good point. Good point.
So.
What's up, David Rodriguez? He's handing out lucky tickets to fans, having some fun.
Tazi actually went yard yesterday in his first at-bat of the summer for Sanford.
And swing and a miss, strike 3. 1-2-3 inning for Alex Walsh and the SwampBats as they lead by 2. To the bottom of the 3rd we go with Tupou, Jaros, and Manolfi up to the plate. Nick Melton remains on the mound for the Mainers as some happy SwampBat fans enjoying whatever concessions they may have bought, of which there are plenty of very solid options here. And the concessions hut is working overtime today with all these fans in attendance. It's by far the biggest crowd of the year. It doesn't look like there's a seat empty or a patch of grass empty as far as the eye can see.
It's certainly one of my favorite concession stands across the league, too. A lot of good options.
Did you have the fries last time?
Yep, I dabbled in those. I had some fries in the bullpen last year.
Okay.
A bag of popcorn, and then was hanging out. The next thing you knew, I was on the mound. Wasn't expecting it, but always a good hang here at Alumni Field. Not a bad place to catch a game.
Fans enjoying whatever they've got in their hands or in their pockets. Chandler Tupou to the plate, who drew a walk as he fouls this one off to the left side. And Alex Walsh, for him to be pitching this well for the SwampBats, he threw almost 68 innings in the spring. A lot of work as a starter, went deep into games, and that arm is still just humming right along.
And you got to respect guys for that. And a lot of times, some guys will say, I'm not going to go play summer ball. I just had a long spring. I want to go relax. But these guys committed to this organization in the fall, and for them to show up and come in here and pitch deep into games like Walsh has done all year, that's really cool to see in a guy that you want on your team if he's going to go out there and do that. And the Mainers have a pitcher they want on their team. let up a run last inning. It was unearned. A lot of weak contact for Melton. He's been so good this summer so far.
0-2, just misses. Great stash, too. Really great stash for Nick Melton.
I'm not sure if he's ever not had the stash, because he just seems like a stash guy.
It fits the brand, yeah. Yeah. Kind of reminds you of Andrew Chafin.
Yep. Right there with him.
1-2. Just misses. I believe Chafin, is he a lefty as well? No, he's a righty. I'll check my sources here.
Yeah,
I should know this because he used to be a Cub. Yeah, Chafin's a left-handed pitcher. Okay. Always got to trust your first instinct there. 2-2 on the way from Nick Melton. Fly ball, shallow center field. Kirtley and Toomey will converge, and Toomey makes the play.
It's another typical Nick Melton out. Just ran right up in on the hands of Tupou. Jammed him a little bit, inside-out swing, and just a weak fly ball into the outfield. And this is a good spot to collect weak contact, especially stuff that's not always going to be consistently in the air.
Yeah. Well, when a guy knows his game like Melton does, he's going to pitch to it, and he's done a solid job thus far. A couple of errors in the second inning allowed a run that won't go as an earned run. And this brings up Ryan Jaros, right-handed hitter. Grounds one to the shortstop as it eats up Kirtley. Throw to first is not in time. That'll go as E6.
That's just another tough one. Came up and got him right around the belt. Didn't get the hop he was expecting, but that's already the third error of the game for Sanford, and there's only one down in the third.
Well, I don't know if it was just a thing of where he wasn't able to read the bounce on the back end of the dirt, because it was pretty deep in the hole. He was on the grass, it looked like, and maybe one that just took an odd hop on the dirt here at Alumni Field. Brings up Ty Manolfi. Nick Romano already hit earlier in this game. Called strike by Alan Liberdoni, and Manolfi steps in with the best batting average in the NECBL. He's drawn a walk today. He's a 5-game hit streak, looking to keep it alive. With Jaros leading off of first. Ground ball, shallow in the infield, has to pick it up. Kent, throw to first. Not in time. Manolfi legs it out, an infield single.
I mean, Nick Melton is just catching a lot of tough breaks on the mound right now. As you see a look at the league batting averages there, Manolfi will raise that average as he just reached on the infield single. And you get a feel for Melton out there. He's pitching really well. Just things aren't going his way.
So there's a look at those little American flags here for you, Jackson, on the bases.
What a job by Reiner.
I know.
Really impressive stuff. And he does such a good job with the SwampBats, with Keene State too. Just
did not even know you could do that.
One of the best guys you'll see across collegiate athletics.
Oh yeah. Aiden Harris to the plate, who flew out to center field. Harris, a tall 6'3" corner infielder and a corner outfielder as well. Listed as a right-handed pitcher as well on the UVA's roster, as a breaking ball is there for a strike. Aiden Harris was the number 15 overall player out of high school by perfect game in the class of 2024, the best third baseman in the country by perfect game. So a great pickup for the Bats. Swing and a miss on the 1-1.
I was waiting for you to say number 15th ranked player and then drop a state in there, but
Virginia, number one in the state of Virginia as well.
Not bad at all.
I believe.
How about that midsummer get for Keene? That's quite a tool to add to your roster, especially when you're already in July.
6'4", rather, as there's a swing and a miss. Late on the fastball, as Harris just misses the barrel. And now 2 away.
Yeah, the Mainers dugout was giving a little bit to, you could say, to Harris or Melton out there, yelling by you after that, because Melton's a guy that knows he's not juicing it up there with the fastball, but he's so effective, doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, and doesn't beat a lot of power 4 guys with his fastball too. But when you're complimenting your breaking ball well and you can command that fastball, you can get swings and misses on really anything.
Brings up Andrew Bell, who's already 1 for 1. Ground ball third base side. Sensei picks it up, throws to second. And another nice play by the outfielder by trade to make the inning ending out. Well, we're through 3, and it's 3-1 in favor of the SwampBats. Due up for the Mainers, it's Toomey, Hudson, and Colbin, and Jackson Walsh on the play-by-play mic when we come back.
SwampBat fans, tonight's Brushing the Bases is brought to you by Spoonwood Dental. Let's give Erickson and Brett a big hand. Like a nice new teeth, bases need to be thoroughly brushed at least twice a day. Thanks to Spoonwood Dental, Ribby brushes every day to keep his big smile looking great for all of his pictures. Just like Ribby, make sure you visit Spoonwood Dental for all of your dental needs.
Back here from Alumni Field in Keene, New Hampshire. It's Independence Eve here in the city of Keene, and the SwampBats with a 3-1 lead as we head to the 4th inning. What a crowd we have on hand here, and Alex Walsh is back on the mound for his 4th inning of work, allowed a run in the first, since then scoreless. Just 3 hits, has struck out 5 Mainers, 4, 5, 6 due up for Sanford in the 4th, and Jack Toomey, the center fielder, will lead off.
Well, Toomey with the only RBI of the day for the Mainers. He drove in Brendan Sensai in the first, so a good guy to have leading off your inning if you're the Mainers. And Walsh, likely the last inning of his outing. He's gone 4 innings in his 3 starts thus far this year.
Drops in the breaking ball, called strike 1 to Toomey. That RBI Toomey had in the first was a line drive single that landed right in front of the left fielder, Jaros. The southpaw is 0-1. Good off-speed pitch downstairs. Counts quickly, 0-2. Moving out of Boston College. See him there with his red BC helmet. Walsh with the 0-2. Goes upstairs and he'll miss for ball 1.
Speaking of BC, Ty Manolfi, the Bats second baseman, recently committed to Boston College, but I asked him, I think I told this story the last time you were here. I asked him, hey, why don't you switch to a BC batting helmet? But he told me he's just going to keep rocking the Dayton one as long as it gives him good luck.
It's working for him. And
I would say so.
I wonder when those guys usually get all their gear too, especially for a Power 4 school like BC. Maybe you can expedite some stuff, ship some gear up to Keene. The 2-2 from Walsh. Toomey stays alive as he sends it out of play. Heads up down there.
So just a little late on the 90-mile-an-hour fastball is Toomey. That means, you know, he's kind of seeing it out of the hands. It's just the decision to start your motion, maybe just a little behind. See what he comes back with for Walsh.
We do it again on the 2-2. Breaking ball fouled off again. This time, Tupou will range over, give it a look, and it'll drift off the top of the grandstands. Jack Toomey at the plate, the only 3rd-year Sanford Mainer on Nick Lopp's roster. Last year we had another 3rd-year Mainer, Devin Bade, out of Binghamton.
A lot of Binghamton guys on this team.
It has been a
connection.
It has been a pipeline the last 3 or 4 seasons for Sanford. Toomey putting up a battle here. The count's 2-2. Another one fouled back.
It's interesting to see, you know, different teams have sort of pipelines with various schools across the country. Keene, you could say, I guess, UVA might be one of those now. We've got a couple of UVA guys.
There's been a couple of Mississippi
FAU,
State
definitely one. Indiana.
The 2-2 again. Swing and a miss. Walsh finally put him away. His 6th strikeout of the night, and there's 1 down in the 4th.
And 3 in a row for Walsh as well. He is just mowing them down at this point. And Hudson, who's already struck out once, it feels like Walsh just having his way at the moment.
Hudson, a lefty batter, definitely a tough left-on-left matchup with Walsh, just with how good his fastball and breaking ball are.
I think it says a lot about a guy when you can respond after letting up a run in your first inning of work and then just go out and strike out as many as you can. That says a lot about Walsh, who he's approaching his season high in an outing in strikeouts.
The 0-1 lined, and that's down for a base hit in right center. The center fielder Herring there to cut it off, and he'll hold Hudson to a base hit.
Great play from Herring to not let that touch the wall, as Hudson would be able to stretch that probably for a double, but keeps it at just a single for the Mainers. That's a really good outfield play.
Hudson on base for the first time tonight, 4th hit of the night for Sanford. And now coming up to the plate, Ryan Coleman, the catcher, the only extra base hit of the night for the Mainers. Had a leadoff double back in the second and ended up being stranded, not able to score.
And Walsh struck out 7 in his most recent outing, so one more and he'll have tied that mark. The most a SwampBats starter has struck out in a start this year was Nick Pavia, who struck out 9.
Coleman at the plate, the Maine native, plays his college ball at UMass. Counts 0-1. That'll miss just low, moves the count to 1-1.
Pavia, who got shut down for the year, he's not on the roster anymore for the SwampBats, but an early season starter who started out a little tough, but he really picked it up. Second game against Valley, yeah, struck out, or rather no.
1-1 foul back.
They flip all the way back again. It was the first game against North Adams on one of the Reading with Ribby nights, all the way back on the 11th of June. Yeah, 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, a walk, and 9 Ks. So Walsh a pitch away from tying his season high. Really great strikeout stuff.
Walsh trying to get through this 4th inning. There's 1 down. The 1-2 to Coleman. Those are the heater upstairs. Coleman lays off of it. Now leaving the count at 2-2. Coleman batting .280 coming into this game. He DH'd yesterday for the first time this season. The 2-0 breaking ball, and he laces it, but
hello.
A screamer. Foul just beyond the bleachers to our left.
And when it comes that far foul off the barrel, he's very early on that off-speed pitch. Just gets the barrel on it, and it's still in that zone where it has some speed, but he's lucky to make contact with that offering.
Another 2-strike fight from a Sanford Mainer in the 4th. We do it again on the 2-2. Check swing, and yes, he went around. The 2nd strikeout of the inning for Walsh, and he's up to 7 on the night.
It's really impressive stuff. The pitch count approaching 65, then also approaching 70, but there's some motion in the Bats bullpen. Not really sure who is going to come into this game.
They'll look over the sea of people.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to point out, you know, who is throwing, who might be moving around, who's stretching, and who isn't really a member of the team at all.
That'll bring up Charlie Jones, the left fielder out of Georgia. Rounded out to the shortstop, Bell, his first at-bat. Mentioned it earlier, he had a big game-tying hit yesterday in Game 1 against North Adams. The Mainers were able to walk off the 0-1. He'll look at it for strike 2.
Getting ahead in counts has been the name of the game for Walsh. And I remember mentioning it in the first inning. He got ahead of counts, but guys were starting to get some hits off of him. The Mainers got past a run. It seems like Walsh is controlling in these pitcher-friendly counts at this point.
Walsh's 0-2 just misses outside. Now moves to 1-2.
And you could tell he wanted that 92. A lot of velocity there on that offering. And, you know, you can hear it from him too.
Walsh looking for his 3rd strikeout of the inning. The 1-2 cut on and missed, and he got it. 4 innings of 1-run ball for Alex Walsh. 8 punch outs, and the Bats lead 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 4th.
What I'm looking for in a bank is one that's looking out for me, like NBT. I want a relationship and a team that supports me and my dreams, like NBT. And let's face it, life can get challenging. I need a bank that's focused on me. They've been rated tops in all the things that matter, like trust, customer service, and financial advice. So when I need a bank I can trust, it's always NBT and me.
Rondé Barber here. Being in the NFL for 16 years, I've dealt with my fair share of bumps and bruises. But typical ice packs never stayed cold long enough, were messy, and inconvenient. Hurt Skirt offers the same long-lasting treatment as ice does, but without the hassle. HurtSkirt uses no antifreeze chemicals, ensuring that panels freeze solid and stay colder for longer. Drop the ice, skirt the hurt. Use code BARBER20 for 20% off and free shipping at hurtskirt.com.
Here's a shot of Alex Walsh in the SwampBats dugout. He's through 4 innings of work, has struck out 8 Sanford Mainers already, just 4 hits, 1 run. That was all the way back in the first inning. Quite the performance for Walsh, and we'll see if his night is done. He's hanging out there talking to Stephen Bangs like it might be over. But
yeah, my guess is that it is. He's gone 4 innings in every start this year, and I believe he told me that this is maybe one of his last starts as a SwampBat this summer. He's just going to head home and rest. I mean, he threw almost 7 innings in the spring for Jacksonville, so just get that arm ready for fall ball and make sure he stays healthy. That's the most important part. But man, he has been a really great piece of the rotation for the SwampBats, a guy that they have really enjoyed having on their team.
Nick Melton on the mound for Sanford. He's been a great piece of the Mainers bullpen this season. He's out there for his 3rd inning of work. Melton, the lefty out of UNC Asheville, will face the top of the order here for Keene. Jack Herring come to the plate. He's 1 for 2 with a homer and almost left the park his last at bat. It ended up being a deep fly out to left center field.
Just kind of in that crevice where a ball gets out if it's left or right of it in that 352 spot. But yeah, that ball has been hit hard, and he has just been crushing baseballs. Hit a home run that was 103 off the bat yesterday at Vermont. Got out in a hurry. And hard contact, he's got a really smooth swing and able to generate a lot of power in that barrel. But you look at his average, it's creeping up towards 300, which is where a hitter of his caliber should be. But at the start, it was closer to 200, just because he was getting a little bit unlucky with, hard hit balls that were either line outs, fly outs, or, just some unlucky, really hard hit balls. But now he's starting to piece it all together and finding base hits.
The 3-0 count here to Herring is Melton missed with 2 fastballs to start, went to the off speed there, not in there. And we'll see if Herring has the green light. We've seen a couple of 3-0 swings so far this summer. Melton's 3-0, and he drops the off speed in there for strike 1.
Yeah, at this point in the game, I don't think you need to swing 3-0, especially Herring. He's going to hit the ball hard, but if it's on the ground, and that's what Melton is good at, drawing out of hitters, I don't think you need to. But now this is one where you think Herring's going to take the bat off the shoulder.
3-1 to Herring. Back-to-back strikes from Melton, and it's a full count.
Herring maybe looking for something inside. Maybe thought Melton was going to go to the off-speed pitch down and in. It just can be hard to get to if you don't see it out of the hand as an opposite-handed batter.
Melton trying to battle back after being down 3-0. 3-2 to Herring. Off-speed in there, called strike 3. Big punch out for Melton, and there's 1 down in the 4th.
A really great pitch that just catches that top zone. You and I mentioned it earlier, where a hitter is not going to be anticipating a breaking ball at that top of the zone, because conventional wisdom says that ball's getting deposited into the parking lot. However, Melton does a good job exploiting that, goes right after Herring and catches the top of the zone for a really great strike 3 pitch.
And now 4 strikeouts through 2 1/3 innings for Melton. Brings up Rifkin Reese, the catcher out of Kent State. 0 for 1 tonight, was hit by a pitch and scored in the first, struck out looking his last at bat in the second. Melton keeping Sanford in this game after they only got 1 inning from the starter, David Floyd. 2 hits, 2 earned runs for Floyd, but Melton has looked good since. The 1-0. Upstairs, the count's 2-0 to Reese.
I wonder, are you guys staying for the fireworks show after?
I heard we're getting out of here like Dodge.
Really?
After.
I mean, it is going to be a lot of traffic, but man.
I heard the post-game meal is going to be waiting for us on the bus. The dugout will be packed during the 9th inning.
That makes sense.
2-0. This one hit well deep to left center field, and that's down for extra bases. Toomey fields it on the fence, and into second base with a double is Ripken Reese.
And what a stretch of games Ripken Reese is having. It is really impressive to see him piece everything together. He's seen more and more usage in the lineup, and catching tonight just a really hard hit ball that gets down in the gap between left and center, and good job by Toomey to get it back in quickly, but Reese, no question there that he was gonna get extra bases off of that, and now if something is into the outfield and on the ground, he has a chance to score. Reese, not a slow runner by any means.
Perez at the plate, batted .326 coming into this game. Takes the breaking ball at 73 for strike one.
Ripken Reese just 2 doubles, 3 triple, or rather a double, now 2 doubles and 2 triples on the year.
Nelson looks back at second and Reese. The 0-1 to the plate, lined, and Kirtley's there to catch it. Nice play, falling down to his backhand side by Ryder Kirtley, and there's 2 outs.
Unlucky for Perez as well, 96 off the barrel, really just a center cut changeup, but a really nice play by Kirtley, just diving to the left. He made a couple of errors, but makes up for it with a great out there, and one that keeps maybe a run from scoring.
Back-to-back hard hit balls from the SwampBats, but there's 2 outs. The cleanup man, Nick Romano, steps up to the plate, third baseman out of FAU. First pitch to Romano, in there for strike one.
Melton, it seems like he likes starting guys off with off-speed, most often that slider or that slurve, and then working with the changeup and the fastball later in counts.
What he goes to here, the count's 0-1 to Romano. The lefty deals right back to the breaking ball this time. It misses for ball 1. Romano singled his first at bat. And in the second inning, grounded out to third on a great play from Brennan Sensei. Came on barehanded throw on to first.
It's really impressive, just an all-around athlete right there.
Melton triples up on his slider. The count's 2-1.
Romano, we'll see what he can do. Singled and scored a run in the first, but then, yeah, like you said, that ground out. He's been hitting the ball well recently as well. It just seems like all the way through the lineup, that seems to be the case for Keene.
Melton's 2-1. Catches the zone. It evens things up at 2-2. Another instance where Melton goes to that off-speed pitch at the top of the zone, and hitters just aren't ready for it.
If it works, then you might as well just keep going back to it. That's what Melton's thinking.
Melton trying to work out of the 1-out double from Reese. The 2-2 to Romano. Just off the plate. The count goes full.
Good eye from Romano, who I think still might be disagreeing in his head with that strike 2 call, but now he's in a 3-2 count. Needs to work a walk here to keep this inning alive. They're only up by 2, so it's still very close.
The 3-2 swung on and missed. He struck him out. 2 strikeouts in the 4th for Nick Melton. And we'll head to the 5th. Keene still with a 3-1 lead here on Independence Eve.
How is everybody feeling tonight? I said, how is everybody feeling tonight? Thank you so much for coming to our Independence Eve celebration. Hope everybody's having a great time. We are here for a leapfrog contest. We have some pro leapfroggers. We have some new leapfroggers. You guys know the rules. Whoever gives Ruby a high five is the winner. When I say go, you go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Amelia hot out of the gates. Emmett right behind. It's going to be close to the final leap. Who's it going to be? We'll never know. It's down to the wire. Amelia taking it all the way home. Thank you very much, guys.
Back here at Alumni Field, and Alex Walsh's day is done on the mound, and what a start it was for Walsh. 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. And the big righty on the mound for Keene, John Malone out of Sanford.
Yeah, and Malone, who was used as a starter in the second game at North Shore, kind of struggled getting the ball as a starter. 2 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned, and a strikeout. However, John Malone has been an excellent reliever, to say the least, for the SwampBats. And, it's one of those things where a guy can be really good out of the bullpen, maybe not as solid as a starter, but he had a really solid outing earlier in the year. He struck out 8 guys, 6 of which looking. So just one of those where Malone, if his stuff is on, it's really on.
Malone, the Alabama native, will face 8-9-1 in the Mainers order here in the top of the 5th inning. Ryder currently the shortstop, struck out swinging his first at-bat.
See how Malone adjusts to coming into this game. A good spot to come in. Your team's up by 2, but Sanford a solid offense. They're kind of middle of the road in a lot of offensive metrics, 8th in the league in OPS, but a team that can hurt you if you give them a chance.
Currently was at Virginia Tech for his freshman year, just recently committed to Miami, Ohio. He is an Ohio native. First pitch from Malone. Fastball misses up and in for ball 1.
He can run it up on the velocity as well. We've seen him touch 91, 92, and there was one outing where he struck out those 8 batters, 6 looking, where his off-speed, his curveball was just working like I'd never seen it before. It was really impressive.
1-0 across the plate for strike 1.
It wouldn't shock me if he goes back to it here. It's a high looping curveball that sometimes he can leave in the top of the zone and guys just get buckled by it.
Curley had a double in game 1 yesterday against North Adams, was inserted as a pinch hitter in game 2 after an ejection. The 1-1, there's that breaking ball, and it's called for a strike.
It's like seems like he's just kind of a gyro sort of slider at this point, 81, but just the spin and how it comes off the hand throws off the hitter. And he can run it up, so here, see if he goes to the fastball.
Malone's 1-2. Right back to the breaking ball, and Curley could do nothing but look at it. First strikeout of the night for John Malone, and there's one down in the 5th.
That is a really promising sign for John Malone today. Is if he's getting to that, pitch sequencing, he starts with the fastball, then he gets the batter a look at that gyro slider, and then there's that curveball that just drops, and you can see it even from here, just how much it moves, and not much that Curley could do about it. A really solid first strikeout.
Sam Miller at the dish, the right fielder out of Binghamton. He struck out swinging his first at-bat. Miller, a New York native. Just finished up his freshman year at Binghamton. The 1-0 from Malone. Fastball on the ground to third. Romano there across the diamond. And there's 2 down in the 5th.
Good clean play. Just got to make the throw, and Romano has been really consistent at the corner infield. He's played every game for the SwampBats this year. Played 1 game at short, and then they shifted him over, or rather played 2 games at short, shifted him over to third where his standard position is once Dylan Cup got here. And then at that point, just pencil him in every night.
Malone looking for a 1-2-3 inning in his first inning of work. Lineup flips over, Brendan Sensai at the plate.
You see Ripken Reese tried to frame that. Oh, that's funny. Catchers will frame anything. It's really funny.
Guys that are just selling out, trying to get their pitcher some strikes.
Oh, yeah. It bounced in the dirt before the left foot of Sensai. I always find that funny.
1-0. All speed in there for strike 1.
You know the clip of, who was that? I want to say it was either Joe Mauer or it was like a Cardinals catcher back in the day where it went off the backstop.
It was Mauer.
It was Mauer, but there was somebody else who picked it and then framed it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name either. The 1-1 to Sensai hit well to deep center. Herring looks up and it's out of here. First home run of the summer for Brendan Sensai. And that cuts the Keene lead to 1. It's 3-2 bats.
350 feet on that, just a low middle fastball, or a low middle breaking ball, that gyro slider from Malone that just left it out over the heart of the plate a little too much, and that will get the Mainers fired up. It's a 3-2 game. And we'll have another look at it. Really just a hard hit ball. 350, it gets out, no problem. Here at Alumni Field, 95 off the barrel, really well hit ball.
Sensai sent it into the hedges in dead center. So a big 2-out run for Sanford after quick work for Malone, and Kent drives one to center as well. A chance for back-to-back. Herring with his back to the wall makes the play. But the Mainers get a run back on the solo shot from Brendan Sensai. It's 3-2 Keene as we head to the bottom of the 5th.
What makes a great team hat? It starts with a Z. For decades, Zephyr has been making the most iconic headwear in the game, trusted by teams, colleges, and pros. We cut out the middlemen and work directly with our manufacturers, so you get top quality, fast turnaround, and prices that make sense. From bold designs to unbeatable fit, Zephyr hats are built to match the quality of your team, right down to the last stitch. Zephyr Team Headwear, born from experience, built for teams that stand out.
Tennis ball toss going on here at Alumni Field for Independence Eve in Keene, New Hampshire. And we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. The SwampBats with a 3-2 lead over Sanford. Mainers just had a 2-out homer last inning from the leadoff man, Brendan Sensai, his first blast of the summer of 2025. And we have another new arm on the mound for Sanford. The third new arm tonight, it's Ben Griffith out of Binghamton. He actually pitched yesterday against North Adams, got roughed up a little bit. His first bad outing of the summer, an inning, 3 hits, 2 runs. So far in the summer, 7 innings, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks, 5 hits for the righty from Binghamton.
Yeah, just really interesting to see him get used 2 nights in a row, especially like when you mentioned didn't have his best outing last night, but you know, and he only pitched an inning. I wonder if they're only going to have him go an inning here as well.
Last night with those 2 runs, it ended a streak to start the summer. His first 6 innings were scoreless and only 2 hits in those 6 innings before letting up 3 to the Steeple Cats yesterday. Looking for a bounce back here tonight. He's on in the 5th. He'll face 5, 6, 7 in the Keene order. Chandler Tupou, the first baseman, will lead off. Looking for his first hit of the night. Did work a walk back in the first.
We'll see if Tupou, Jaros, and Medolfi can jump on the new pitcher and maybe catch him warming up a little bit. He had ample time to warm up, of course, in the bullpen, but I really do wonder if this is one of those situations where Keene is going to be able to jump on a pitcher early, like they did earlier in the game last night against Ethan Nowak of Vermont, where they hit a homer in the first and then piled it on in the second. And then, of course, with that leadoff homer on the second pitch of the game to Jack Herring, or of the bottom of the first.
First pitch from Griffith. Next swing, appeal down to third, and they'll say that Tupou held up for ball 1.
Tupou's plate discipline has been really solid, kind of something to watch the whole year, where not a lot of strikeouts. You look over at his numbers on the year. He struck out 7 times, drawn 6 walks, but for almost an everyday guy, for that low of strikeout numbers, he puts balls in play.
The 1-0 is laced, and that's down for a base hit in right field. A leadoff single in the 5th for Chandler Tupou.
I think he heard me. He definitely does put balls in play. 97 off the barrel. Just smooth, got the barrel into the zone. That's a perfect line drive and gets down, easy single.
Ryan Jaros, the right fielder, comes to the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Last step at, he reached on an error on the shortstop, Kirtley. He's able to advance to second on the throw. Tupou leads off at first after the leadoff single. Griffith to the plate and misses downstairs for ball 1.
Now, I don't think they'll send Tupou here, but he's dancing around more than usual. You see the middle infielders are closer to the bag to try to prevent the double play, or try to nab the double play, I should say.
The 1-0 to Jaros. Right back to the off speed. This time it's at the knees for strike 1.
You see Tupou is starting out with a very small lead and then jumping over.
Yep.
Right.
That's a new phenomenon we've seen the last couple of years called vaulting.
Yes.
A jumping, running lead. Does it here. Not running. The 1-1 is low for ball 2.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of guys sparingly use it for Keene this year, but it's not been, you know, a staple, just because Keene has some speed where guys don't really need to use that just to nab bases. but it's definitely helpful.
2-1 from Griffith, popped up on the infield. Third baseman Sensei calls it, and he's there for the first out of the 5th.
We'll keep Tupou at first, and just got under the ball to Jaros. Really solid hitting stats in college. Hit 300 this last season with the Wolfpack of NC State, but you know, he's small sample size with Keene this year. He's going to be a second half guy looking for some solid at-bats down the stretch, and that's what Keene's going to need if they want to have a second half like that first half, which really was just kind of magical. And you look at a guy who has really helped that a long time, Anolfi, since June 12th, almost hitting 500 on the year.
No one skips in the dirt.
Wow, great.
Colbin goes to the backhand to keep it in front.
I'm surprised that he was able to get the glove on that. That's a really nice play.
The spiked fastball is the hardest pitch to block as a catcher, but a little bit of luck there maybe for Colbin. Didn't use the traditional form to block it, but you don't have a lot of time to do so when you get a heater. Anolfi already has a hit tonight. He's 1 for 1 with an infield single. That was back in the 3rd. His first at bat in the 1st, he worked a walk.
That means his hit streak is now extended to 6 consecutive games, which is pretty impressive.
From Griffith. That'll miss inside. The count's 2-0 to Manolfi.
Another guy who has really solid plate discipline. It seems like you stack your power guys at the top and then guys with really solid approaches at the plate in the middle, and then you have some speed towards the bottom, especially with Andrew Bell, who's in the hole at the moment.
The 2-0 on the ground, a chance for 2. Kirtley will take it himself on to first. Plenty of time. An inning-ending double play for Griffith. We're through 5. Keene with a 3-2 lead on Sanford here on Independence Eve.
Tonight's Sweeping the Bases is proudly brought to you by the people at Dream Clean 123, the Greater Monadnock region's premier cleaning services. Just like your house, a baseball field can always use a good clean. Let's hear it for Ribby and Brett as they make sure SwampBat baseball is always played on a clean field.
Andrew Hillsman, Jackson Walsh here from Alumni Field, and we'll send it down to our 3rd member, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan?
As you can see, it is Independence Eve here at Alumni Field in Keene, New Hampshire, where the SwampBats have been very successful in Independence Eve, especially against the Sanford Mainers, where they're 3-0. And I'm here with Marcello Mastroianni as we play the Sanford Mainers. Marcello, is this a day you look forward to throughout the season?
This has been a day I've been looking forward to all summer, actually. We've got a great crowd out here tonight, seen a lot of my friends pitch, hit. You know, we're doing everything right now. Been successful so far, and hopefully we can pull this one out and move to 12 out of our last 15 on Independence Eve.
That's right, and with the big crowd like this, and you got the fireworks after, is this the day where you're like, okay, it's Independence Eve, we all got to lock in?
We all got to lock in, and Ben Dean, the Cheshire County Cannon, is going to get the save, and those fireworks are going to be going off before that boy even steps off the mound, so let's do it.
The fireworks, you looking forward to the fireworks?
I'm looking forward to it. I'll be here.
Thank you very much, Marcello. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Ryan. Good to hear from you two as well, Marcello. Always a great time on Independence Eve here at Alumni Field as we head to the top of the 6th. John Malone back on the mound for Keene. Dom Tazi at the plate.
I want you to have a look at something. Once we go back to our pitch camera here, just see the field of people who are behind the plate in their seats. I mean, it is just stacked. You can't even see.
One's lined into center field for a base hit. First knock of the night for Tazi, and the Mainers have the leadoff man on.
That's going to help. Malone has been hit around a little bit. That, of course, that home run from Sensei. And Kent almost made it back-to-back towards the end of the 5th. But top of the 6th here, and Malone I think the goal, they want to get him 2 innings, probably is the idea. It doesn't really seem like anybody's warming up right now for Keene, but Jake Hooker moving around a little bit there, not a ton.
Jack Toomey swings on the first pitch. It'll be a tough play, and nobody can get to it as it drifts foul.
And Toomey, a right-handed batter, the outfield is shifted to the left. So Perez didn't really have any shot to go over and get that ball, and Tupou was not able to get a good enough jump on it to move over and catch it. It's a tough play anyway.
Toomey at the plate. 1 for 2 tonight, an RBI single in the first, struck out swinging in the fourth. Tazi leads off at first. Just reached on a single. 3 consecutive barrels from the Mainers bats. One of them resulted in an out. Zach Kent flew out to center. Swung chop foul down the third base line. The count goes to 0-2. Malone came in, made quick work of the bottom of the Mainers order. Struck out Kirtley, got Miller to ground out, and then a solo shot from Brendan Sensai, a deep fly out to center from Kent. And then the single from Tazi has us up to date with Toomey at the plate.
Well, it just goes to show how quickly one mistake pitch can change an inning.
The 0-2 in there, called strike 3. Caught him looking on the fastball at the bottom of the zone. And there's 1 out as Malone gets his second strikeout of the night.
I don't know what it is with Malone's delivery that he racks up so many backwards Ks. It just seems to me that his delivery seems like it's just hard to pick up out of the hand as a hitter. At least from up here, it seems like he hides the ball really well.
Brennan Hudson comes to the plate with 1 out. First pitch to Hudson on the ground. It's going to be a tough play, and it finds a hole. It's into the outfield for a base hit. Brennan Hudson with his second hit of the night. Now the Mainers will have runners on first and second and just 1 out.
Again, big time for Colbin to come up to the plate, who has a double already in the game. He got that off of Alex Walsh. So at this point, you know, Malone is going to be probably working towards the lower half of the zone, trying to get a ground ball to one of his middle infielders or Romano over there and get a double play to get out of this.
And I'll bring up Ryan Colbin. Does have a double tonight. He's off the left center wall back in his first at bat in the second inning. And in the fourth, he struck out swinging. Malone now in a mini jam trying to work out of it. First pitch to Colbin, and he'll run off the plate for ball 1. Mainers already up to 7 hits in this game. The offense has really picked up over the last week.
It's just been the errors that have hurt them thus far. Only one of the 2 SwampBats runs has been earned thus far. So yeah, 7 hits, you're doing something right. And a chance to pile on more, maybe take the lead.
The 1-0 to Colbin. That's outside as well. The count's 2-0.
Pulling the fastball a little bit where, again, still nobody warming up in the SwampBats bullpen. Guys moving around, of course, but no true reliever who is up and throwing at the moment.
Ozzie off a second, Hudson off a first. The 2-0 to Colbin. That's down and away. The count's 3-0.
Slider that started out too far over the plate and then dipped away.
Mainers still searching for their first win over Keene on the summer. SwampBats 2-0 with a win at Goodall Park in Sanford and then a win here last Saturday. The 3-0 in there for strike 1.
Could get me over fastball, 89 miles an hour from John Malone.
Always nice when your get me over fastball is at 89.
Yeah, right. You don't want to throw him a cookie, so that's low in the zone and a good pitch, especially if a guy wants to swing 3-0. But no need to if you're Sanford.
Malone trying to work his way back here to Colbin. The 3-1. Pop foul out of play. That'll even things up at 3-2. Excuse me. Moves the count full to 3-2.
And now the kids will run after that one, of which there are plenty today.
More people rolling into this game. I don't think they're going to be able to see much of the game from where they're positioned. Just
well, they're there
setting up camp for the fireworks
show, yeah. Right. Well, I think they stopped charging admission about after the 4th inning because people aren't going to come for the show.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here in the top of the 6th.
Baseball here.
Going to call his catcher out to talk as Ripken Reese will meet him halfway.
It's a big moment.
Let's talk a little strategy here. This is a big moment in this game. You're right, Andrew. First and second. Just one out. Colvin at the plate. Already has a double tonight. Been hitting pretty well this season at 280. Limited at bats compared to his teammates because he is a catcher, so see catchers split a lot of time in this league. Malone's 3-2. Called strike 3, froze him on the breaking ball. And there's 2 outs in the 6th, and Nick Lops down the line at third. The Mainers manager not very happy with home plate umpire Alan Libertoni.
Well, the call's the call, but that is just a really nice pitch, I think, from Malone. And zone, you know, it's tough to see from our angle, from anyone else, but Malone, Reese, and Libertoni behind the plate, but just a really good execution. After battling back 3-0, it's a good out from Malone. That'll help his confidence.
Charlie Jones comes to the plate with 2 outs. We'll look at the first pitch up high for ball 1. So far this inning, single strikeout, single strikeout. We'll see what Jones does here. The count's 1-0 with a big right-handed bat out of the University of Georgia. Transferred to Georgia from Air Force. The 1-0. He's back to his breaking ball and misses inside, and it's 2-0 to Jones.
You see Jones turned away from that. He thought it was going to hit him, but it barely missed. Just with how much break that has from Malone, I think I don't blame him. I think that's going to go hit him.
Malone's 2-0. Fastball popped high into center field. Herring back, has room to work with as he comes in. And John Malone able to escape the 6th. The Mainers get 2 singles, but 2 strikeouts and a flyout. Keeps the score at 3-2 in favor of the Bats as we head to the bottom of the 6th here from Keene.
We are Keene State. Here, we believe that everyone is welcome and anything is possible.
Look closer. We are a tight-knit community, an inclusive community, where people can be their true selves. Bring your ability, background, culture, or traditions, whatever makes you you.
You already have what it takes. Welcome to Keene State.
Good shot of the sky here in Keene that's soon to be filled with fireworks at the conclusion of this one. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning, and before the fireworks, we got a pretty good game on hand. It's 3-2 SwampBats, and Ben Griffith is back out on the mound for Sanford.
Well, he needs efficiency here. You've got Aiden Harris, Andrew Bell, and then the top of the order, and Jack Herring has been the most dangerous hitter thus far today with already a homer. Just so big for the SwampBats and John Malone to be able to escape that 2-on jam in the top of the 6th. That is huge for the whole team's confidence. Because now you're hitting and you're trying to extend your lead rather than trying to reclaim it.
8-9-1 due up for the Bats. In the bottom of the 6th inning, it's Aiden Harris, the DH out of UVA. And at the plate, 0 for 2 tonight, flew out to center and struck out swinging his last time up. Griffith faced the minimum in his first inning of work after getting a huge double play. Harris swings on the first pitch. Everyone converging, and it's the center fielder Toomey to take it for the first out.
Well, Harris aggressive at the plate today. Struck out swinging once and then has now flown out to Toomey twice. He's 0 for 3, but I like the confidence and the aggressiveness at the plate. Trying to get something started in this inning, but also trying to get something started on the season for Aiden Harris.
With 3 straight SwampBats retired after a single from Chandler Tupou to lead off the 5th. And Griffith settling in after a tough outing against North Adams last night. And the first pitch to Bell was in there for a called strike.
you mentioned he threw, it was a deep inning last night when he pitched.
It wasn't a short inning. Yeah, you're right. An inning, 3 hits, a walk, and 2 earned. The 0-1 to Bell. He'll look at the off speed. It'll be called for strike 2.
I mean, it doesn't matter. If he's been efficient today, then, hey, why not? Leave him in as long as he's going to be effective.
Bell, the Duke Blue Devil, going up against Griffith, the Binghamton Bearcat. The 0-2, right back to the off speed. Was trying to get Bell to chase, but a good job from Bell to lay off of it. It'll move the count to 1-2. Perfect night for baseball here in Keene. Had some worries about weather throughout the day, but seems to be holding off the 1-2. Right back to that same pitch. Gets by Colbin. Even things up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, I think it is. This guy in there kind of looks like a George Costanza looking like on that camera shot.
I didn't catch it. I was looking at the field.
It's a bit of a stretch.
We got to find him again.
Yeah. It's close.
Griffith's 2-2 in there, strike 3. Throws him on the off speed on the inside part of the plate. And there's 2 outs in the 6th. Ben Griffith really settling in on the mound for Sanford.
What a pitch. I mean, all the way. Bell thought it wasn't going to fall in, and just late break from the righty. That front door breaking ball catches him looking.
And after he took it, he knew he was going to get rung up, was waiting for a fastball, and the bottom just fell out of it. But Griffith's looking for a 1-2-3 inning. Top of the order comes back up. Jack Herring at the plate. Herring tonight 1 for 3. That one hit was a solo homer in the 1st inning. Herring, the switch hitter. We've seen him from the right side tonight, now at the plate from the left with the righty Griffith on the mound. The 0-1. This one hit well to the left center. Toomey, the center fielder, ranges over. So does Miller in left. And it's Miller to pull it in. Excuse me, Jones in left field. Had a defensive change before the game, but another good inning from Ben Griffith, the 1-2-3-6. We head to the 7th. Andrew Hilsman will take back over here on Independence Eve from Keene.
The dash in the grass, as happens after the end of every 6th inning here at Alumni Field. It's a thriller of a game here on Independence Eve thus far. It's 3-2 in favor of the SwampBats, who haven't scored since the 2nd. A scoreless 6 for both sides, and it's Jake Hooker, the new pitcher for the SwampBats, who has been extremely effective in his time with Keene thus far.
This is a big spot for Hooker. Sanford kind of has the momentum. You talked about the injury. Keene hasn't scored since the 2nd, and you got to point to Sanford's bullpen right there. Nick Melton and Ben Griffith, and just give them a handshake and tell them what a good job they've done, because the bullpen struggled in both games yesterday for Sanford. Kind of gave the game away, especially with that 7-run 4th inning for North Adams. And Griffith was a guy that drew in that game yesterday, and he struggled, but what a bounce-back performance so far. And Hooker's going to try to keep Keene right in this thing with a 1-run lead, but everything, you can kind of feel it. I mean, you look at the scoreboard, it's pretty even, but you can kind of feel that momentum slowly starting to go towards the Mainers. And it's a big moment for Hooker in his season and for the SwampBats in one of their biggest games of the summer.
Well, Hooker, the only remaining pitcher for the SwampBats who has yet to allow a run and has pitched more than once this year. 5 appearances for Jake Hooker, 9 innings pitched, 6 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 11 strikeouts to go along with 2 saves on the season. So a late game, high leverage guy. They're gonna try and get at least 2 innings out of him here. See what he has against Ryder Kirtley, who struck out twice today.
Talk about those 11 strikeouts to 2 walks. Really similar stuff to the Bats starter, Alex Walsh.
Yeah.
Just love a guy that can command the baseball and not give up free passes.
Fun guy to watch for sure. Final stat line for John Malone: 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 3 Ks. Malone, or rather Hooker's 0-1 comes in as a strike. It's 0-2 now. There's a look at Keene Vorster handing out maybe some lucky tickets, maybe a raffle going on. Vorster, I guess, not slated to pitch today, would be my assumption. 1-run game, Hooker deals. Called strike 3.
What a pitch. That's that fastball that can juice it up to 93, and then you throw that breaking ball at 82. That's why he has now 12 strikeouts to 2 walks on the summer and gets put in a high leverage situation.
Not a lot of velocity, and looks like we've got a pinch hitter on, or rather, in the game.
It's Kellen Strohmeyer coming into the game.
It's Kellen Strohmeyer, who was a starter in the last game these 2 teams played.
And now you have 1 position player left on your bench, and it's a catcher, Cole McGinnis, with Strohmeyer inserted into the game.
0-1 with 1 away. Hooker kicks and deals. Off-speed pitch fouled off to the right side.
This could be a move for Nick Lops to try to get that 1-run deficit back and tie this game up by 1 swing of the bat for Strohmeyer. Usually see him go to the opposite field, but even a fly ball to center, a ho-hum one at a lot of other fields, is going to clear the fence here at Alumni.
He still have a chance. Hitting the 5 slot in his most recent game against the SwampBats at Alumni Field. He was 1 for 2 with a couple of walks and a strikeout. Had a single in the 6th inning, but never got further than first base. Strohmeyer yet to pop a homer this year. Be a good time for one here. This one's to the right side. Tupou picks it up, underhand to Hooker, who makes a great play for the out.
What a play. That's a big-time play from Tupou, ranging towards second base, and then a good adjustment from Hooker. For all the people that say pitchers aren't athletes, he had to hustle over there and adjust to a low throw from Tupou. Threw it from pretty much the seat of his pants, so all around fantastic baseball play from Keene. And those are the little things that's going to make you a really good ball club, and that's why Keene is 17-6.
Fresh count to Brendan Sensai, who is responsible for the home run that put this game back to a 1-run game, and looks like we're waiting on something. Not sure, there's a fire truck out there. Looks like there's an ambulance there too. We don't know what happened, but
just those, I think they're just rolling in for the fireworks.
Hopefully that's the case.
And Sensei would have no chance to make contact with flashing lights.
Yeah, that's fair.
In the kind of the batter's eye out there.
I hope that's the case. We're going to operate under that. First pitch is fouled off and out of play. I sure hope that's the case. I mean, they aren't honking to get people out of the way, so hopefully that's what we're dealing with here.
Just rolling in case anything maybe goes wrong for later in the night.
Maybe, but
somebody wants to whip out their own fireworks.
It's coming down this way, so I don't know. 0-1, yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. Guys, if you're going to have fireworks thrown, make sure you keep all 10 of your fingers. His fingers are good. They're pretty useful. 1-1 to Brendan Sensai. The leadoff hitter is just a miss pitch. Just off the outside edge at 92. 2-1. First count today that Hooker has been behind in. Swinging a drive, center field. Herring looks back at the warning track. We're tied. It's 3-3, 2 on the day for Brendan Sensai, and another 2-out shot for the Mainers.
Back-to-back homers for Sensai. And the Mainers dugout loves it down there. We got a tie game. Straightaway center field on both of the solo shots, and you could see it out of the hand from here from Hooker. It was just a hanging breaking ball, and Sensai's a guy that hit .411 at school this year, 86 hits. You can't make mistakes and expect not to get hurt by Sensai. One of the best games of the summer for the Mainers right now.
We're headed for an exciting finish here in Keene as a high grounder towards Bell. Picks it up, shuffles, has to rush to throw. It's way high, and he misses the tag, E6.
And Andrew, we just talked about coming into this inning how that momentum was kind of slowly shifting towards Sanford's way. You could feel it. All was well for Keene. 2 outs, nobody on, and that was the same situation when Sensai homered last inning. And a couple other good hits, good swings on the ball. Hooker comes in, and now you don't want to compile mistakes. That's just the first error of the night for Keene. They've played a clean game, but you don't want to let that hurt you anymore with Tazi at the plate.
First pitch to Tazi is low. Ball 1 at 90 miles an hour. So with 2 away, it's the second 2-out shot for Sensai today and his second home run of the season. We're tied at 3 here in Keene. Fastball, a challenge pitch, right in the middle of the zone, is fouled off for strike 1.
And we've talked about as well just the interesting dimensions around parks in the North Division in the league. Tazi hit a homer yesterday, his first at-bat of the summer. It was 301 to right field. It just slipped over and then doubled where it's actually hit it further than a homer.
Runner goes, tag in time, they got him. So the game ties up at 3 apiece, but that's where we'll stay. We'll head to the 7th inning stretch. It's 3-3, headed for an exciting finish. We go, bottom of the 7th, and Ben Griffith still out there. He's only faced 6 Keene batters, but 2, 3, 4 drew up Ripken Reese, Xavier Perez, and Nick Romano. The SwampBats hitters that will try to untie this game after another home run. Brendan Sensai, this is one of the best games of the year thus far.
It's always a blast when you have a good baseball game. We were talking about it previously off the air before the game, how it just stinks when you show up and you have a runaway game. Things aren't as exciting. Not as exciting for us, too, as well. It was 12-1 last time.
Yeah. We had to dig deep in the bag and find stuff to talk about.
But here, this is fantastic. Packed house. We got baseball in July. 2 teams that met in the playoffs last year. Top team in the NACBL here in Keene, and they're kind of been getting revenge on Sanford so far this year. The Mainers were 9-1 against Keene, including a playoff sweep, and should be an exciting rest of the summer. And this can be a game you look back to, depending on who comes out on either side of it.
First pitch to Ripken Reese is in the dirt, and we are humming right along. 2 hours and 26 minutes elapsed thus far in this contest. Hopefully I don't jinx it, but maybe want it to get a little darker before we start the fireworks. 1-0 to Ripken Reese. Swing and a ground ball, and it's picked up by Kent. Shuffle, throw to first in time.
It's a good pitch. Fastball outer half, and that's where you want it. With Reese at the plate, he just rolled over on it. It was only 80 off the bat. That's weak contact, and Griffith is a guy that has that capability of pitching for swings and misses and knows when to pitch to contact. And he's been pitching to contact today. He's gotten one strikeout. It was on a breaking ball that he just froze Andrew Bell, but a good start to the 7th for Griffith.
Xavier Perez, who is 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a line out, and he reached on an error in the 2nd as there's a called strike. Rather, he went around. 0-1, really efficient. This is one of the best outings of the year for Griffith.
And it's impressive because it's a bounce back outing.
That's right.
After last night, it's been 24 hours since he's pitched, and he had his worst outing of the summer, but getting some big outs here.
0-1, heads up. Let's see what happens. Hits off of something. I think it hit off of an electric box, and somebody caught it off the bounce. Always fun when a fan makes a snag. We'll get back to the action on the field. 0-2 to Perez. Needs to get on here for the Bats to keep momentum. Griffith, he kicks and deals. High pop up into the evening sky, and will stay in the infield, ranging towards first base, and the first baseman, Hudson, makes the play out, number 2.
Just got right on top of the zone that time. A good location yet again on a fastball from Griffith, and Perez recognized that he was down to 2 strikes, had to take a protective swing, and that's why it was just weak contact on the infield. I really like what I see from Ben Griffith right now. This is one of the biggest relief outings for any Sanford Mainer this summer.
So yeah, we'll have Nick Romano to the plate, who's scored today at a single. He's 1 for 3, needs to get something started here. Laces this one fouled on the right field line. The first base line. Go foul as the kids go pick it up. Not much of a race there.
It's another cool thing about how big of a crowd it is. Where everyone is pretty much in play down the lines. You have that white line drawn, but camped right on top of it.
0-1 to the switch hitter, Nick Romano. That's outside. He's interested to see if they leave Hooker out there. From memory, I believe that Ben Dean hasn't pitched in a little bit. He may be due for an outing. 1-1 to Romano. 2 away. That one's there for a strike. Catches the low outside part of the zone. She popped out of the catcher Colbin's glove.
It's an interesting pitch here. Griffith has had really good command. You can kind of go to whatever you want on this pitch. He's on both of his outs on the fastball, but he's also had confidence in his breaking ball. You don't want to leave one hanging, though, and untie this game if you're Romano at the plate.
1-2. Swing and a foul ball left side, but hit very hard.
And that's a good 2-strike pitch.
Yes, it is.
Low and away. Just a good protective swing by Romano. Really good bat against a really good arm on the mound.
Another 1-2 on the way. Fourth pitch of the AB. He'll foul it back. What a battle for Romano. Needs to keep it going.
Same spot as 2 pitches ago. You can really go to anything you want. Fouled off 2 pitches ago on a fastball. That time, it's a breaking ball. Looked like it was kind of over the heart of the plate, but a good breaking ball is going to mess with the hitter's timing, and that's where you see the foul balls and off-balance swings.
1-2 again. Swing and a flare out to right center field. Racing after it is Toomey. He puts it away. And now 3 consecutive 1, 2, 3 innings. Ben Griffith is wheeling and dealing for the Mainers as we're tied to the top of the 8th we go in Keene, New Hampshire. 3-3 the score after 7 full innings. We head to the top of the 8th, and Jake Hooker still out there on the bump for the SwampBats after allowing his first run of the year in his 6th appearance.
That's a tough way to let up first run. It was a solo shot from Sensei that's only going to get out of Alumni Field, maybe go off the wall at Danbury. That comes to the top of my mind.
Right.
But he's still been excellent so far, but how about Brendan Sensei? 2 solo homers tonight. Both of them have come with 2 outs. He's coming up big for his team right now. Solo homer in the 5th and most recently in the 7th. And this is a really big test for Sanford right here. You're in a great spot. Hooker just gave up his first run of the summer. You tied this game up. You're down 3-1, and now you have your meat of the order 3-4-5 coming up. Maybe the last time you'll see him at the plate tonight.
This is big time. Sanford needs a rally to get something going. It's a tie game. See if the home crowd can boost Keene to 1-2-3 inning. Hooker comes set from the stretch to Tazi. That's outside. And for Lops, if you get a guy on, you probably don't want to change any sort of alignment here or bring in a pinch runner for base running speed.
You can't. You only have one guy on the bench now,
right,
and it's your catcher.
So that won't really do much. There's a swing and a miss by Tazi on 92 from Hooker. It's a beautiful night, one of the most comfortable nights. The rain cooled it off earlier in the day. We've avoided any more rain thus far. That one's a little high, ball 2.
It's a good lead from Tazi. And Andrew, this has been a theme more in the first 2 weeks of the season. Hitters having to adjust after having some time off. And you see some power 4 guys, some really good guys come here and not really have at-bats. But Tazi, not in that case. I talked about it earlier. At Coastal Carolina, lost in the National Championship Series to LSU. Guy played in 42 games in his freshman year for a team that almost won it all.
Yeah, that's nothing short of impressive to play for that quality of a program and now come here and deliver for the Mainers in the NECBL. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Down he goes.
That's just pure gas upstairs. They got right by Tazi. 94.
That's the hardest I've seen Hooker throw all season. At least off my memory, but right by the barrel of Tazi, down he goes. And that's strikeout number 2 for Hooker. Brings up the 4-hole hitter, Jack Toomey, who's got an RBI on a single today with 2 strikeouts. First pitch from Hooker there for a strike. 93.
And I need to take a moment after last strikeout to look at the velocity on our
Yeah.
systems up here. It's usually a little off in the ballpark itself, and I always enjoy pitching here a little more when they're having radar malfunctions.
Yeah, I remember when we were setting it up at the start of the year, it was like 6 higher, so it showed that one of our starters was throwing like 98, but that got fixed. So warming up in the Mainers bullpen, looks like
that's Tyler Longoria down there. Longoria's been another high leverage guy like Griffith.
Swing and a liner out to center field, and that will fall straight into the glove of Jack Herring. Out number 2.
There's a good piece from Toomey. We've talked about it a lot for the home runs tonight that would have gotten out of the park, and he barreled that one at 98. That might have gotten down for a single at other places because when you have a short park, your outfielders are going to have to play a little more shallow than normal. So Herring able to come on and make that play. And I mean, Toomey's been barreling up some balls. Had a couple at 102 off the bat yesterday. That one at 98 for a hard out.
As now the hitter is Brennan Hudson. 2 singles and a strikeout, with Herring trying to send the Mainers down quickly. First pitch to him just misses.
Like a good pitch on the mound from Hooker. Just a perfectly placed fastball at the knees, and that's what a lot of coaches will tell you in terms of command. Just shoot knees.
1-0 is called a strike. It's 1-1.
That's a similar pitch, but if you're consistently staying in one spot that's around the zone, and the umpire knows that, you're going to start getting those calls.
Yep. Hooker has been consistent all year. 1-1. Wave and a miss on the off speed. 81. Pulls the string. We have an attendance number I don't know if you got to look at it. 5,740 through the gates here at Alumni Field. The biggest crowd of the season by far. 1 and 2. Just misses.
That was another good pitch.
Yeah.
I talked about hitting that spot. It's pretty much the same spot, it seems, as where the fastballs were.
And against a power hitter, you don't want to leave stuff up in the zone, so he's working the low half. 2-2, 2 away. Hooker the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 1-2-3 for Jake Hooker and the SwampBats. Bottom 8th we go. Tupou, Jaros, and Minolfi up to the plate at Alumni Field. Still tied at 3. Three to 3 is the score. Sanford has 8 hits, 3 errors. Keene 6 hits, 1 error, and we'll have a new pitcher. It is Tyler Longoria for the Mainers. As you look at the Independence Eve overall record, 13-7, 11 of the last 14, and when that crowd shows up, the SwampBats, they get energized.
Trying to will their team to a win right now. Keene has had a lot of zeros on the scoreboard, just 3 runs, none of them coming in anything since the second inning. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and Longoria on the mound here. Him and Griffith, along with Sam Mitchell, maybe we'll see him if we get to that point, have been the 3 best bullpen arms for Nick Lopes' Mainers team. Used in really high leverage situations so far in the year for Longoria.
Wow, look at that.
8 1/3, 12 strikeouts. That's a pretty shot of the moon there.
Very cool.
Longoria's last time out, he let up his first earned run of the summer. That was back on Monday at home against Mystic. 2 innings, 1 earned, 4 hits, 1 walk, struck out 2. But flashback before that, that was the best relief performance we've seen from a Mainer all summer at Bristol on June 26. 3 scoreless, no hits, a walk, and 6 strikeouts as the Mainers won it in extras down at Muzzy Field. That performance was good enough to have Longoria be named the Mainer of the Week. That comes out every Monday, a very, very prestigious award.
Yeah, it's like the Employee of the Month or Employee of the Week. That's fun.
Vote on that every Sunday night.
Do you get a vote?
I do get a vote. I'm on the committee this year.
Okay. How big is the committee? Is it like every player?
I can't disclose that information.
Okay. I understand. If you tell me, you have to tell me.
It's 4.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Okay. Makes sense.
Actually, make that 5. 5 on the committee.
Is Maynard Moose one of them?
Nope, he was left off this year.
That's boring. I think you should get a vote. Anyway, first pitch to Tupou is a swinging strike. Tupou 1 for 2 with a single in the 5th. He reached on a walk and advanced to 3rd on a wild pitch in the 1st, and then flew out to center all the way back in the 3rd. Righty-lefty matchup. Jumps on this one, fouls it off our way. 0-2. I'd imagine that Longoria will go to the fastball here.
He uses it a lot, but we have seen him double, triple, quadruple up on his breaking ball. He has 12 strikeouts and 8 1/3 so far.
0-2. Fastball hit well left field in the gap. Back it goes to the warning track, and Jones makes the snag.
Did go to the fastball, Andrew, and it was a good swing from Tupou. Sometimes you barrel up a ball and it'll go right to somebody, and that's why, as a pitcher, it's important to pitch to contact, because even when you make a mistake and the hitter gets their swing off, it'll end up right in somebody's glove this time. It goes to Jones.
Looks like Ben Dean is warming up for the SwampBats in the bullpen. That's not a surprise. The hard-throwing right-hander who recently committed to Duke will probably come on for the 9th. Here's Ryan Jaros looking to get something started with one away in the 8th as there's strike one. Swansea's very own Ben Dean. Jaros trying to get his teammate into a situation where he can close out the game. That one's high. It's 1-1.
I think I saw some Swansea Little Leaguers a part of the crowd here pre-game.
It's 1-1. Longoria winds, deals, pop up, and it escapes the lights. Let's see where it lands on the roof of the covered seating. It's 1-2.
And Charles just got surprised there. That was a... All right, I thought the count was 2-0 that we had here on our screen and in the park, too. But that was just a good breaking ball that had Jaros off balance from Longoria.
Foul back, stays it a ball and 2 strikes. Or they're 2 balls, 2 strikes, I should say. So grind out bat for Jaros, who has struggled at the plate a little bit today. 2-2. Called strike 3.
What a comeback after the breaking balls. Perfectly placed on the corner, and that's what Longoria does.
It's a really nice fastball. 89 rings him up, 2 away.
Got a big bat to get through here, though. Arnolfi talked about it plenty of times tonight, the NECBL average leader. Big test for Longoria trying to get to the 9th.
First pitch is low. Looks like Marshall Lipsy is on deck for the SwampBats. He hasn't played in about a week, but it's like Aiden Harris's day is done if we get to it. 1-0 to Ty Manolfi. Grounder, third base side, picked up by Sensei on the run, makes the throw in time. The SwampBats go down 1-2-3.
He keeps doing it. His first time at third base ever in a competitive game since high school, and he makes a huge play, and we head to the 9th. We got a good one, Andrew.
Yes, we do. To the 9th we go, and it looks like Ben Dean may be the pitcher as when we come back. 3-3, top of the 9th we go. New pitcher on the mound for the SwampBats as we head to the top of the 9th. It's Ben Dean, former Dayton Flyer, now committed to the to Duke University. Hard-throwing right-hander from very close to here, Swansea, New Hampshire.
It's a big spot for Dean, but you're Sean McKenna. You're going to your guy in this situation. Local guy, biggest night of the year in terms of regular season games at Alumni Field. Hopefully the SwampBats get some big postseason games at home as well, but playing one of your biggest rivals, 3-3 game, going to the 9th, packed house. Nothing better than this.
You know how chippy this rivalry got last year. Sanford had the SwampBats number last year. Bats were only able to take one from the Mainers and were swept in the postseason.
And that one game, Sanford did a lot of different things in their lineup. It was on the very last day of the regular season here at Alumni Field. So a lot of people will say that the Mainers were undefeated against Keene last year. They're undefeated in games that really mattered in terms of standings and playoff implications. So as Dean warms up,
Due up for the Mainers is Ryan Colbin, Charlie Jones, and Ryder Kirtley. And Colbin will be the first to hit against Ben Dean. Dean, who on the year 3-0 win-loss record, 1 flat ERA in 5 games pitched, 9 innings, 13 strikeouts, and 5 walks.